Well, join the club.
I like hate that it's so structured too, but whatever. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so
Their names.
we start with the humanist view first and spokesperson 1. And that's Maria.
I think someone said we need to say our names. Maria Falk.
Oh, Lori Jensen.
Hannah Nielsen.
And Lacey Pilcher.
Okay. So I am spokesman 1, and I am going to introduce some of the tenets that humanism and humanists do not believe in God. To say God created everything just poses a question: who created God? Humanists accept responsibility for their own lives, but human beings also have responsibility to the whole world. We are more advanced than other living beings. We have unique abilities of understanding, reason, and sensitivity. Humanists believe that when a person dies, that's that. What matters to humanists is here and now for ourselves and future generations. Science and ethics are a continuing process of discovery and surprise, so one must always be willing to consider new ideas. Humanists expect fair play, and working together is part of their belief. But we believe that morality comes from within ourselves, not from God. It is to do with the people, with individual goodwill and social responsibility. It is about unselfishness and kindness and consideration towards others. We accept the responsibility for the society in which we live, but we will resist those who wish to reimpose the prejudiced and intolerant morals of the past. We want to make this world better and safer for our own and future generations. Instead, so humanists, they don't believe in God. Instead, they don't believe that God to ask God for help. Instead, they rely upon themselves and other human beings. And why it should be considered valid in public discourse and policy? It should be considered valid in public discourse and policy because it's an approach of an affirmative and hopeful vision that we need in this century that is filled with new scientific, technological, and social and political changes that are in the world. Humanism offers an alternative that can serve present-day needs and guide humankind toward the future. And that's what I have for my first part.
Okay. So now the spokesperson 1 for the religious group.
Hannah is not going to be with me.
I can just, I'm like not prepared for this hangout. I can read like what I put in that discussion board.
Okay. It's just like an opening statement. So you're just really kind of describing, you know, what your article was about.
Okay. To escape the oppression of the past of a world ruled by kings or tyrants, America's founding fathers established the American Republic to secure our freedom and liberty. For the rights and protection of all flesh, the United States Constitution includes in its First Amendment the guarantees of free exercise of religion and free speech and press. These are fundamental rights of our Constitution. As such, an opinion should not be disqualified for being religious. An opinion from a religious point of view carries just as much weight as any other. The freedom of all viewpoints, religious or not, should be protected. As Richard John Niehaus said, in a democracy that is free and robust, an opinion is no more disqualified for being religious than for being atheistic or psychoanalytic or Marxist or just plain dumb. Forces who would intimidate those with religious points of view from influencing or making laws is denying our constitutional rights and impeding our freedom. Religious values and political realities are so interlinked in the origin and perpetuation of this nation that we cannot lose the influence of Christianity in the public square without seriously jeopardizing our freedoms. To try to expel religion from government is to take away essential freedoms and rights of the people. It is critical we defend freedom of religion. Our democracy is a representative system where power lies in the voice of the people. To discredit any opinion because of the source the morals and values derived is to go against our system of government and the principles our country was established on. Professor Dinesh D'Souza reminds us, the attempt to ground respect for equality on a purely secular basis ignores the vital contribution by Christianity to its spread. It is folly to believe that it could survive without the contributing aid of religious belief. That's all I got.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so round two is spokesperson two will just kind of state the main arguments, main ideas with humanism, and that would be me. So humanism crosses all of the aspects of life, including religion, ethics, the individuality, a democratic society, and the world community. So I'd like to address each one of those. And I'll start with religion. The traditional authoritarian religions that place revelation, God, ritual, or creed above human needs and experience need to be dissolved, and they need to come in to the time here and now. They are ancient and not relevant anymore. Nature should pass the test of science evidence, and our world should begin with humans, not God, and nature and not deity, because these are the things that we deal with on a regular basis in our world, is humanity and nature. God does not exist on this earth, so he shouldn't be as important as we are as individuals. This is really weird to say all of this stuff. I so don't believe any of this. I'm ruining the debate. On the ethics end, we believe that morals and values derive from our own human experience. They don't come from God. They come from our own experience as humans. Ethics stems from our human needs and interest and does not need theology or ideology. We strive for a good life here and now because that's where we are. We are here and it's now. Reason and intelligence are the most effective instruments that humankind can possess. Reason and intelligence comes from within. It does not come from a God. This, along with human kindness and caring, is the best method to resolve all of the world's issues. And we feel that even if you are religious, that is your belief as well. As far as the individual goes, the preciousness and dignity of the individual person is the central humanistic value. Humans, people, are the most important. We should be encouraged to realize our own talents and desires and develop our own talents and desires as we see fit. And we just need the help of other humans. That's all we really need. We want a responsible attitude towards sexuality. With intimacy, sensitivity, respect, and honesty in any type of interpersonal relationship that we desire. And we're encouraged to have those relationships, but how they are and who they involve is strictly up to the individual. In a democratic society, we believe that to enhance freedom and dignity, the individual must experience a full range of liberties in all societies. This includes the freedom of speech, the freedom of press, political democracy, the legal right of opposition to governmental policies, a fair judicial system and process, religious liberty, freedom of association, artistic, scientific, and cultural freedoms. And those also include the right to suicide. People are more important than any rules or regulations a democratic society could have. We should always evaluate the society and minimize poverty and hardship, and we need to increase the sum of human satisfaction and enhance the quality of life for everyone equally. If individuals are unable to provide for themselves, then humankind should provide for them a salary and a good living for them. We believe in universal education, and in universal we mean worldwide. So the next one is in the world community. We look to develop a system of world law and world order based on a transnational federal government. And we feel this can be successful. The world community must renounce resorting to violence as a force of solving international issues. The world community must come together to save the ecology of the earth, and we must all live under the same ecological laws. World poverty must cease, and we all must be on board with that and be willing to give for that cause. Technology is a vital key to human progress and development, although we do believe that technology needs to be used for good only and not the violence and the evil. Communication and transportation should be equal across all frontiers. So travel and living restrictions need to be eliminated from country to country, that the world is free to roam around in. So those are the strengths of the humanist side of the debate.
That's really good.
Okay, so I will just do like the main parts of the religious argument. And sorry, my voice still hasn't gotten completely better. But to start with, John A. Howard wrote, generated by people from whom Christianity has been from a century and a half, the compelling feature of their lives, it was Jesus who first stated that all men are created equal and that every person is valued and loved by God. And then Professor Dinesh D'Souza said, the attempt to ground respect for equality on a purely secular basis ignores the vital contribution by Christianity to its spread. It is fully to believe that it could survive without the continuing aid of religious relief. And so, like in our article, it was talking about how those who exercise their religious freedom should and need to do so with love, understanding, and patience, and knowing that not all will be like of the same religion of them, and that's okay, because we extend that to everyone, not just ourselves. And then that we need to insist that it's our constitutional right and our duty to exercise our own religion, and that there's no leader or any group that can tell us otherwise. And then the next point is that we need to insist that we be able to preach our religions, and that's like where missionaries come in, and Mormons aren't the only ones that have missionaries, and that we need to protect that right, and how in our country we can pretty much send missionaries anywhere, and it's not a big deal, but there are some countries where they won't allow our missionaries in. But we need to be able to teach what our Heavenly Father has commanded us to, and make sure that we are strong enough in our religion that we can do that. And then the last was that we need to be careful to never support or act upon the idea that a person must subscribe to some particular set of religious beliefs, and that differs from like the whole world religion, the under one religion. We need to make sure that we don't get sucked into that thinking, oh, like that might be good, even if it is Christianity, because no one religion is the same. And it says, in ours it said, fragile freedoms are best preserved when not employed beyond their intended purpose. if a candidate is seen to be rejected at the ballot box primarily because of religious belief or affiliation, the precious free exercise of religion is weakened at its foundation, especially when this religion for rejection has been advocated by other religionists. And that's what would happen if we started getting a one world order and a one religion, even if it was Christianity. Is like, how many different Christianity groups are there, and people are less tolerant of which avenue you want to take. And religious values and political realities are so intertwined, and you can't separate them, because our country was founded upon religious beliefs. And if you don't have religion, then you can't have morals. If you don't have religion, then you don't have anyone above, any higher power, if you will, to be accountable for. And I think that's the big thing, is it doesn't matter what your religion is the common denominator is that you have that higher power that you will answer for. And in our country, for the most part, we are a Christian nation. And so people do believe that they're going to have to meet God, or their maker, whatever they call him, and have to kind of defend how they live their lives. And I think that's really important, because that keeps, for the most part, you in check in this life, and it gives you purpose, and it gives you something to work for and to be better and live better yourself.
Okay, I'm just writing some notes here.
I hope that worked.
It worked. Okay, so now we go into the cross-examination, round 3. And so, Maria, do you want to go? Do we all participate in this? I wasn't sure. Or is it just the spokesperson one for each of the groups?
And the example, it says that now, well, the example was Tim, now ask Heather. So I would ask Hannah questions about her perspective on why religion it needs to be. So I have a couple of questions. Is it supposed to be questions, I think?
Yeah,
I think
so. Questions or comments.
I feel like it's like Law and Order or something.
So, Hannah, I would like to know, why do you feel that religion needs to be part of public discourse and policy? Do you think that it would just cause conflict with individuals that don't have religion? What are your thoughts?
I think religion needs to be a part of it, just because it represents a large part of the people in America. And I don't see a conflict between people who choose to have religion in their lives and people who don't. I think it's good to have different viewpoints that influence policy making. I think that's the whole idea behind our democratic system, is that we have different ideas and people can voice those ideas. But for me personally, because I believe in God and it's such a big part of my life to have religion, I think it'd be a huge right taken away from me not to be able to share that love for God that I have, to be able to, not just share it, but individually be able to worship and practice what I believe. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, I think so. I don't have other questions.
Okay.
Okay, so are any of us allowed to kind of ask questions, do you think, and debate it a little bit, or not?
I think so.
I have a question. So you believe that there is a religion and life after death, and that God will bring us all together again, and those are your freedoms to believe, and you want that freedom to believe that. But let's see. But do those religious freedoms that you enjoy, the fear of damnation and having a God, does that really change your morals and values and make them different from another person who is not religious but still has those same loving and kind and caring morals and values that you have? Is there really a difference?
Is this one for me? I think that there's good people who don't have religion that we share the same morals, but I think there's differences, and I can't think of a specific like moral where we would be different. But I don't know. I don't even remember where I was going with my thought. I don't know, Lacey, do you want to say anything?
Are you okay? Okay, I have one more question.
Okay.
You talk about a higher governing power as God, but right now God isn't on the earth, and He's not governing any of the world, any of the humans right now. So, but our governing societies are doing that. So wouldn't it be better to have one governing agent across the whole world that we all live by instead of a God that most of us don't even know if He exists or not? What's wrong with the one world order?
Because it's like, what one world order is going to take place? Is it going to be the Islamic one world order? Because that won't be good.
Well, we probably have to come together and design a new world order, just as America was founded on religious and freedom of speech. We would come together and create a new world order, just like we created the United States of America.
Yeah, that would be nice, but then you have to think about the people in charge who would create it. I mean, just in our own country, the people, they can speak out, but really the government's the one who holds the power. And so what I would be afraid of is that they would put things from other religions, that could be damaging or that go against, what your religion already is. So,
okay.
Does that work?
Okay, yes. Okay, so Hannah, you're sports spokesperson too. Do you have questions for Maria?
Anyone can answer, I guess. I was just thinking, don't you think it would be anti-democratic to exclude religious influence from, like, policy making, and I don't know how you would separate that in people too, because it seems like it can be such a part of someone, so I don't know how they would separate their thoughts from their religion. So I guess I know that's kind of two questions. My question is, don't you see it kind of as anti-democratic, and how would you separate religion?
We feel that we don't need to ask God for help. We can build. We can manage ourselves. We are able to come together and work things out for ourselves. And so that's why I feel that religion it can be excluded from public discourse.
Gosh, Maria.
I don't believe it.
Sorry, we're supposed to be professional. Okay. Did you have any other questions?
No, I think.
I'll just ask. I guess I'll ask Lori like the same question that you kind of asked me, is what makes you, okay, well, not you personally, but you feel that a one world order, a one religion, would benefit the people more than allowing them to exercise their individual faiths?
Well, I think a one world order would bring us all together with our ideas and our morals and values. We would all have to give some up to all kind of come together and decide on what would be best. But I feel like through a one world order, we could eliminate poverty, we could eliminate violence and war, we would have world peace, we would be able to travel and communicate wherever and with whomever we wish to, as long as we follow those morals and values of the humanists, where we are kind and caring to one another, that we watch out for one another, and which is essentially kind of what you guys talk about with religion, and we believe that it's innate in each of us to be kind, but we would just come up with new laws and a new order that we can all follow and feel good about, and we would have that world peace that everyone speaks so highly of.
It's like so hard because it's like so wrong.
Okay, so let's move into our closing statements. I'll go first. In closing, humanists encourage the willingness to step forward and to expand new plateaus and new ideas, which is what this world needs as we start to disintegrate. We need a commitment to all humankind, and kindness is the highest commitment that we're capable of, and we can all strive for that. Humanism transcends the narrow allegiances of church and state and party and class and race, and it moves into a wider, more beautiful vision of humankind and human potential. We believe that humankind has the potential and the intelligence and the goodwill and the cooperation, the cooperative skills to actually implement this commitment in the decades to come, as religion is becoming more ancient and ancient in their belief, and it needs to step forward into the 21st century. We believe that compassion is the humanistic's number one value, and that this is what will bring us into the next generation and to the next decades as we pull together as a world and fix our government and our ecology and each other, and we become actual human kindness throughout the world. Humanism is based on individualism, and as we first think about ourselves and work on ourselves, then we can reach out and work with one another as well.
That's good.
All right. You're up, Hannah. I mean,
No,
Lacey.
it's me. Okay. Okay. Get my close. Okay. And so I'm gonna start off with two quotes by signers of the Declaration of Independence. John Adams, in a speech to the military in 1798, warned his fellow countrymen, stating, "We have no government armed with power capable of contending with human passions unbridled by morality and religion. Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." Benjamin Rush, who also signed the Declaration of Independence, said, "The only foundation for a useful education in a republic is to be aid in religion. Without this there can be no virtue, and without virtue there can be no liberty, and liberty is the object of life of all republican governments. Without religion, I believe that learning does real mischief to the morals and principles of mankind." At a time when morality and virtue are in short supply from the very highest office In our land on down, religion must play a greater, not lesser, role in our national life. Our country remains small by its fundamental structure and undecided from generation to generation. We, the people, must therefore fight to return religion to its proper and fundamental place in our country as the essential companion to liberty. In doing so, we must return our country to the vision of our founding fathers, not only held dear, but for which they risked everything, their lives, their property, their sacred honor, and their freedom. Religious liberty is far more than liberty for religious. It is vital for all citizens. Putting religion back in the place as intended is not just a policy item on the order of taxes, health care, or military defense. It is taking care of our foundation. Religion in America is far from an unavoidably private issue. It affects every person. It is a national issue. And then that's like what I got. Is that like we need it? And what I think is sad is that our founding fathers, the ones who gave us this nation that we live in, the ones who gave us our freedom, hundreds of years ago knew that you do need religion in order to be virtuous and to have morals, and they foresaw governments that didn't have those, and it's just interesting to see nowadays when religion is trying to be taken out at the government level, just the way that our country and other countries are going. And I just think it's interesting how hundreds of years ago, and they could kind of foresee this, and so.
Okay.
Not my favorite hangout, but it was good.
Okay, so now it is the wrap-up, and we're done kind of debating. So the first question that we need to talk about is, do you think the authors of your articles were taking the moral and high ground or making moral statements? Why or why not? So I felt that the humanist side, they were being they had morals and values, and as I read it, as infuriating as it was to read, it kind of sounds like they are just kind of taking the parts of religion. I mean, they could totally persuade a religious person to go, oh, humanism is okay because they're totally believing the same things that we believe, and they have high morals and values, and they want to be kind and compassionate to everyone. So I think the humanist side did have a lot of morals and values. They were just misplaced and misguided.
I think you said it perfect, Lori. I only added that I think I agree with all that you said, but I also added that they just absolutely feel like they're on their own. They're not dependent on God. So even though they do feel that they're in kindness and doing good for humanity, even for future generations, just as we will, people with religion believe in taking care of Earth for future generations, they also have those beliefs, but it's just that they don't acknowledge that there is a God. And I think that's kind of what I pointed out mostly. To me, that's what it stood out to me mostly, that yes, they do have high moral values, but they don't believe that God can help them, it's like all on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
I like to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you can go.
I was just going to say our article was obviously, he was making a moral statement because it was a religious leader, a religious article. So go ahead.
Yeah, he was, and I think he did a very nice job. He didn't attack any one religion or anything. He just simply said, it was like he gave us the facts that we all have a right to religious freedom, whatever that may be, and we need to show, love and respect towards all others, um, and that because we have like that freedom, that we can kind of self-govern ourselves. So that's good.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Did anyone have anything else to say? Okay, are religious folks the only ones with values and morals? Can morality exist without religion? I think we kind of just answered that. They can exist. They certainly can exist without religion. Sorry, we got a new puppy today. Making sure. They do exist, and I think it's what makes this world such an amazing, great place is because morals and values do exist with religion, with any kind of religion, and outside of religion. And then there's those fanatic groups that do not work on morals and values, the extremists. But I think most human beings really try to have good morals and values, whether they're religious or not.
When I was thinking on that question, I thought like my answer was that outside of religion, morals and values, it's more of like a theory. And in that, yes, you do have people who can say that like they don't believe in like a religion or anything and still be good people. But then I was asking my dad, how many missionaries come back with stories where people are like, oh, I don't believe in religion, but it's so easy for them to, accept that there is a God and stuff because deep down they really do believe it. And I think that you're right, is those fanatics are the ones that, actively go against. I think that they too know and have, know that, religion is good and that we need to have one. And that's why they try so hard, like, to disprove it. But I think that even those who say that that they don't have a religion, they have to know deep down that there is a God, and I think that and wanting to be drawn to that is what kind of drives us, because we're all created in His image, and I can't see Him. And we know that like everyone kind of has the light of Christ, even if you're not a member of the church. And so that's what I think, is that that's what drives morals. And so it's really hard for me when someone says that they don't believe in God, because then I don't believe them unless they're really, really bad.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. I think like just what you guys already said, that there's good people who have morals who maybe don't say they don't believe in God or have a religion. But then I was also thinking, if that's how everyone thought, like if there was no religion, if morality would still exist. And I think, there'd be still good people, but I think it would be chaotic if there wasn't any religion. So I think that it's good that there is religion, and people can choose not to believe it and still be good. But I think that if there wasn't religion at all, it would not be as good.
I really like what you said, Hannah. I agree with that. I think a lot of people's morals and values are drawn from some type of religion that existed either now or before. I think that's a really good point, is they may be moral and have values, but those were probably drawn from some type of religion. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, if this was getting really crazy, like when you try to think about religion too much, but like Adam and Eve obviously were like the first people, and they had a religion because like they communicated with God. And so it's like, but then I was thinking about like science saying Big Bang, and if we had a Big Bang, then there would be no God. And so then we would just start off really weird. And I was like, that's where my mind went with this debate, guys, just so you know.
Yeah.
So
I
was
mean,
like,
I agree.
we started from the very get-go.
Yeah. Maria, what do you think about that?
I also agree with all the stuff that you guys shared. The only thing I can add is pretty simple. I said morality can exist without religion because, as you guys mentioned, there is a lot of good people that they don't claim to have a religion, but I feel that it would be more limited. Like it would just morality wouldn't be as high without religion. I think
Yeah,
that's how
so
I
that's
feel.
kind of just what Hannah said too. I agree with that.
I think the biggest example of that is the same. Because if we didn't have religion saying, like, that's not what we believe, like, our religion, we believe it's between man and woman. If you just had morals, people would say, oh, but you need to not judge and you need to be nice. Accept it.
Bless you.
She's sick.
Oh, I'm
There's so
sorry.
much going around.
I hate
Okay, so I think we hit everything, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I hope we don't have another debate.
I think the only thing we really lacked was the professionalism. It's hard for me. It is really hard for me to defend to go against everything I believe and try to defend that. That was ridiculous.
You
to
guys
me.
did a good job, though.
Yeah. It was hard to respond to you because I just wanted to tell you that you're wrong, but I know that I know that like you know that you are wrong, so I don't know what to do.
Okay. Now, I have not looked forward to next week. Has anyone looked forward to next week to see? I mean, because obviously it's Thanksgiving is our time to meet.
So she did send out. Hold on, I got them. Okay,
Yeah.
I did read.
It's going to be a discussion board.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So no group meeting, just a discussion board. I haven't read anything yet. So
Yeah,
okay,
it's
perfect.
a discussion board, so we'll just post our things. And then, oh, and Hannah, last night, like, it was like 11 o'clock, and no one else had posted on our TV, and I was like, well, there's not much I can discuss with anyone. That's why I didn't post anything. So I'll just like get in there right now.
11 o'clock is about the time I posted on it, so
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, well, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.